Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads jewelry making studio. Oh, it's all so mysterious. Have you ever been to those great souvenir shops where they have that big old box of rocks that you can go buy by the bag? Are they pretty? But how do they get there? How do they get them so shiny? It turns out it's not that hard at all. It's this machine right here, and let me show you. So if you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so here's the basis of the machine. It's got two little rods in it. And when you plug it in, the little rods start to spin around. So this little guy starts to spin. And when you put the tumbler then on it, the tumbler starts to spin. That's all there is to it. How easy is that? And the nice thing is with this particular tumbler, it's revolving at about 50 revolutions per minute, which is like perfect for tumbling rocks. Faster will make it get shiny faster, but it also might destroy your rocks. And slower just takes a long time. So 50 revolutions per minute is kind of the magic number for rock tumbling people. So next thing, more details. Where do you get the rocks? They're everywhere, people. It's the earth. We're made of rocks. My favorite rocks for tumbling in the tumbler are like driveway rocks. You have no idea how they're going to look when you pull them out of the tumbler. They might be gorgeous. They might have decayed into nothing. But it'll all be fun. It's a huge experiment. If you want to see more videos like this and how to learn how to use all these great things, sign up for our emails at firemountaingems.com. So this is a mismatched mess of rocks. Try and think of harder rocks. If you're familiar with Mohs scale of hardness, it's a scale from 0 to 10, with the hardest being diamond at 10 and the softest being talc at 1, I think is what it is. So the harder on the Mohs scale of hardness, the better it's going to be for your rock tumbler. Generally, you want to look at like 7s. And 7s are like agates and jaspers. So those are great, and especially if all your rocks that you pick up are in the same sort of hardness family and the same sort of size family, it's all an experiment. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it's also fun. So you find all these cool rocks, whether you buy them or get them in the creek, and you pop those into your barrel. This is a 3-pound barrel, so it can hold 3 pounds of rocks. This is not quite 3 pounds. If you don't have, this should be about 3/4 of the way full. This is only about halfway full. So I would add some ceramic media into here to get it to 3/4 of the way full. Because if it's too empty and they bang together too hard, you can destroy your rocks and actually not get a polish. So get it about 3/4 full. And if it's not 3/4 full, add ceramic media. Or I've heard other tips too. Please let me know your tips are. I have heard that you could use scrap leather to put in there, and not only does that help cushion them, but it also helps some of the buffing. I've also heard that mango wood works really well. I haven't tried these things, so if you do, please let me know how it works. So put in your filler, put in water till it almost covers the rocks, and then we need to add the grit. There are 4 kinds of grit. Well, I think there's probably more than that, but there's a coarse grit, a medium grit, a fine grit, and finally a polishing grit. So the first thing we always start with the coarsest first. And since we have 3 pounds of rock, we would add 3 tablespoons of grit into our tumbler. And seal this baby up because you don't want this all over your garage floor. So this little top goes on there, and it fits on very snug because we do want it to be watertight. Get it in there. Put on the other cap here. Nice and tight. Put on the washer and put on the little nut to tie it down. Just give it a normal finger tightening. It can get even tighter as it's tumbling, and then you may have trouble getting it out. So don't make that too tight. Put it on your tumbler with the water in it and let it rip for about a week. Yes, a week. Before you walk away from this too, you want to make sure that watertight seal is holding. You don't want to come back in a week and see a surprise flooded basement and a dried up tumbler. So check your watertight seal. And also, I would recommend that you place this on the floor. Put it on the floor of your basement or your garage. It makes a bit of noise. It can sort of wobble off your table eventually. So it's best to just put it on the floor. All right, let that go for about a week. And if you can't stand it and you got to check on them, you can just stop it, look inside and see how they're coming along. If you find all your grit's all been dissolved away or your rocks have dissolved away, you can add more grit. You can do whatever you need to do, or you can just put it back on the tumbler and tumble it some more. So after a week, you pull all this top off and everything, and you rinse those rocks. Big warning here, do not rinse them in your sink. Take them outside, put them in a strainer, hose them off. Fire Mountain Gems is not responsible for plugged sinks. Thank you very much. Don't put rock dust down your sink. So you take all of this apart and get your rocks out, rinse them out in the yard, and then you're going to want to clean them, burnish them, it's called. And you'll use just a drop of detergent solution. It can be dishwashing soap, or you can use a special detergent, especially for rock tumbling. 1 drop with water, tumble it again for a day. Take them out, rinse them. Put in grit 2, which is a little bit finer. Let that go for a week or more. Take them out, rinse them, burnish them with the soap 1 day. Then we go back, rinse those, and go back to the fine grit 1 week. Burnish them. Go back and hit them with the fine polishing grit for a week. And then when you take it out and you dump it out into your strainer in the yard and rinse it all off, hopefully you're going to have some beauties that look like this. Or maybe you'll just have sludge. It's an experiment. It's rock science, not rocket science. Here's some other cool things you can do with the tumbler. You can make sea glass in this. So if you take some thicker glass, like bottoms of bottles or something like that, and tumble those in here, that works too. So if you're a metal artist, you can also use the tumbler to work harden and shine up your metal. So especially if you're using like the metal clays and also jump rings for chainmail, this stainless steel shot, you put this into your tumbler, put in your metal pieces and tumble them. I think it's only about 20 minutes. And that shines them and work hardens them. Great for chainmail. If you want more details, we do have a great book called Modern Rock Tumbling available for you at firemountaingems.com. I'm so excited about getting out there and tumbling myself some driveway rocks. I hope you are too. And I hope you have a lot of fun, and tell me what fun you had. So thanks so much for joining me at the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. Happy tumbling.